You're watching Life Report. Pro-life talk. Real-world answers. Life Report trains people to more effectively defend their pro-life beliefs while honestly examining the strengths and weaknesses of both sides. We're the show other pro-lifers may have warned you about. This is Life Report.
Welcome to Life Report.
Yay!
Yay! Why do we say that?
I don't know. We're happy to be here.
We are.
All of 3 seconds straight to bump the mic.
Are you serious?
It was totally. I don't know. Okay.
I just told you.
Okay, but I was
Not
like,
to
all
bump
right,
the mic.
relax.
And what was your response when I said don't bump
I
the
don't
mic?
really bump the mic. It's usually this
You were
one.
like, I've only done it twice.
Can I say one thing? It was Andrew.
It was Andrew. Within 3 seconds
For
of the
once,
show start.
it was
I'm
not
impressed. That's a new Life Report record.
Anyways.
I don't think you'll beat that
Let's
ever.
get to the show.
I have a website I want our listeners to check out. We've talked a bunch of times about Steve Wagner's book, Common Ground Without Compromise. It is, I think,
We
especially
have
for...
shamelessly plugged it.
We have. We've had
Shameless,
Steve
I don't know
on
about that.
just about as much as anybody else, like probably four, something like, I think 4 episodes we've done with Steve, and we talked about the book. I think for our listeners, in case you're a new listener, I think this is the most important book for pro-life ambassadors to read. And it's also like this, it's a small,
really
easy book to
small.
read.
Yes.
It's easy to read, and what it does, it talks about how do you find common ground with pro-choice people without compromising your position. It has got 25 questions.
Not your position, your beliefs.
Well, I don't
The
like
truth?
necessarily talking about beliefs language, because beliefs language can kind of imply where you can have
values?
your beliefs. The pro-life position, without compromising
Okay,
the pro-life
as
position,
a
would be really
mediator-
the best.
As a
Yes.
mediator,
Yes.
my job is to get people out of their positions. How about we use the word interests? So that sounds bad in this scenario, but
Yeah.
But-
I'm sticking to mine. If you want to defend the pro-life position well, people freak out about the idea of finding common ground, like you're going to compromise a position. You're going to be saying the wrong
I don't
thing.
think we're defending a position. We're defending the truth. We're defending life. If you want to defend
Yes.
unborn
But it's not.
lives,
I'm just making the clarification. It's not my beliefs I'm defending.
No,
it's
no,
not
I see
just
how that could
your
be-
beliefs.
right.
So
That could be
in fact, we
troublesome.
used to use that. We had that on previous
Yeah.
podcasts, like I think the VO or whatever, the voiceover, and we've taken. Hopefully that's off by now. Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah.
I,
No,
I
it's
haven't
not up
listened to that
anymore.
voiceover that closely in a while. All that to say, okay, so Common Ground Without Compromise is a great book, but and not enough people have bought it. And so here's what Steve has done recently: is he has made the book free. You can download the entire book
Yes.
for free as a PDF.
Wow.
Online.
That's pretty
So
awesome.
all you got to do, you go to commongroundbook.com. commongroundbook.com.
That's super easy.
The website's going to go across the screen. commongroundbook.com, and you can get the free book. And an important part of that is there's a little questionnaire in there for demographics. You can put
nice.
where did you hear about the website, and one of the options already there is the Life Report podcast.
Yes.
So if you go there,
yeah.
select Life Report podcast,
So
you'll know
go
that we
and
made a
click
difference.
Life report.
If you don't have this book, you need to go get the book. I mean, there's just
Seriously.
no reason not
Especially
to have
if you're
this book.
listening to our
It's
show.
better than
Yeah.
And you haven't read that book,
I know.
then
That would be dumb.
we need
That's
to
problem.
talk.
Exactly. We
Yep.
should have a serious conversation. Okay, next. I've been engaged in an online debate recently with a pro-choice person who's
Which
very...
is very surprising that Josh is
I know,
actually
it never
engaged in an
happens.
online debate
Never happens.
with a pro-choice person.
Never happens. It's a good chance to take our arguments and try them in the laboratory.
Yes.
And this particular person is much more fringe than almost any pro-choicer I've ever talked to in my life, who is like maybe not a relativist. I see as
Okay.
hardcore pro-choice.
Right.
And so this has been a good opportunity for me to have to go to different kind of arguments I've never had to use before. I've
Okay.
seen them in books. Scott Klusendorf's book is the main one that I've
Mm-hmm.
been using, the Case for Life. Frank Beckwith has talked about this argument a little bit in Defending Life. And the argument is particular that we're going to be talking about is the Eileen McDonagh argument. Eileen McDonagh is a pro-abortion philosopher.
Okay.
She's the main one that uses this. She takes Judith Jarvis Thompson and David Boonen, who
Okay,
talk
the violinist argument.
the violinist argument, bodily rights arguments in general, and she takes it like another level, or maybe another 5 levels.
Okay.
And those like fringe bodily rights
I'm
argument.
just a little scared by that concept.
And like to the point where almost
Anxious.
almost no pro-choicers even agree with this. Like, this is fringe for most pro-choice people. In fact, I heard Scott Klusendorf say in a speech he thinks Eileen McDonagh is probably doing more harm to the pro-choice movement than good, because most street-level pro-choicers hear this argument, they just kind of roll their eyes like this, like, whatever.
Have you ever heard it except...
Never before from an actual person. Besides, the fact that McDonagh has done this
is an actual person.
From an actual person face to face, like
You've never come across it in a conversation.
In a conversation, no. I've never had to. So I had to kind of go to the book and because here's the argument. The argument is basically fetuses, unborn children, are like little rapists because they implant themselves against the mother's will. Like, the mother has not consented to them implanting themselves in, or him or herself into her uterus. And so she should have the legal right to repel the fetus through abortion the same way you would repel a rapist who is attacking you. That is
it's a
foundation of the
self-defense argument.
That's exactly what it is.
Attacking.
It's attacking me. It's invading me, and I have the right to self-defense. I'm the mic. I can't believe I did that. Okay. Anyway,
I'm not alone.
It's a self-defense argument. So let me just right away before I give you guys stuff. If you heard a pro-choice person say this to you, Liz, hopefully you would just laugh at them.
No, but I think I have a quick comeback.
What would be your quick comeback?
I think that the moment that a fetus takes a knife and comes at you with it, you can act in self-defense.
Nice.
Seriously?
That's good. That's
Seriously.
good. And I remember you said this.
That's just absurd, Liz. Come on.
I have to quote Maddie here because Maddie comes in. She does our makeup for the show. This is sad that we need makeup, but it's a TV show anyway.
Josh needs more than me.
Whatever. She spends like 4 times as much time on you than both me and Andrew combined.
Okay.
And because you're a girl. But Maddie came in here, and I loved her response. You were like, "Here's what I'm gonna say." And you used your little "if the fetus came at me with a knife," and Maddie said no. Except it's the other way around. When abortion, we come at the fetus with a knife. And I was like, that's pretty awesome. That was good.
Well,
Would you add on to that, or is that kind of
okay? The idea of a rapist, someone is literally coming at you to harm you.
Right.
A fetus isn't choosing to attack you with intent to harm you.
Now, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Finish. I was finished.
I think that would be
Andrew's
the premise of the argument almost, is that you're arguing.
But it's not.
Okay.
But it's not.
There's got to be a motive,
it's that
though.
bad?
No. So see, well, it's actually better than that. That's kind of what I thought the first time I heard this.
Okay.
In fact, I even said in my debate kind of early on, I was like, that is a ridiculously high standard to hold to an embryo that they basically have to ask for permission to implant.
Yeah. How do they ask for
and
permission?
and she didn't really respond to that. But that's actually not Eileen McDonagh's argument. Eileen McDonagh doesn't think or argue that the fetus is intentionally trying to harm the woman. She compares the embryo to like a mentally handicapped person who's been born. Like, let's say, like, if you had like a 10-year-old that has some kind of a special needs issue is there, and he was really strong, and he came out and attacked you.
You wouldn't kill him.
Well, you would have the right to defend yourself.
Okay.
And let's say okay.
What do we do with handicapped people who might have violent tendencies? We don't just kill them.
Well, okay, I'll adjust the analogy slightly. McDonagh could say, what if you had an 18-year-old mentally handicapped person who had a machine gun and was shooting at your house?
Okay, so when the fetus has a machine gun.
Okay, but don't take us too literally. I'm just saying.
I'll try to be nice here. I'm not using my good skills.
No, you're not. We're gonna try to understand her view, and her view would be, if there's a special needs kid shooting at my house, I have the right to defend us, even if that means a lethal response. And that would be, she would say, it's not a thing where the kid is like trying to hurt the woman, but it has implanted against her will, and she should have the legal right to repel.
Okay, well, my response to that, my initial response is, kind of a newsflash apparently to her is, sex can lead to conception.
No.
She has a response to that too. Okay, so I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead, finish your thing.
What my argument is, if she's using the comparison of the fetus as being a rapist, would be that the fetus is not the one who has brought this upon them, because the woman has put herself in a situation where conception is like not I won't say expected, but there's a good chance that this
it's a
could
variable,
happen.
yeah.
It'd be like, okay, a lady got raped because she was like scantily clad in a dark alley at 2 a.m.
Okay, I
wandering
would
around between a bunch
never
of guys.
ever
But don't go
say
there.
that. Do not go there.
I'm just saying I think that's the comparison is like you're almost asking for it in that situation.
But
in the same
that
way,
woman. Okay, but just clarification.
Just don't ever.
but that
say
woman still has the right to repel the rapist.
Yes.
No, I understand that.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that is not a wise situation
Correct.
to be
You're
in for
engaging
that.
in a behavior that has known possible side effects.
Right.
Correct.
But okay, to look at that, there's still that aspect of the key point is whether or not the fetus has a choice in the matter, because a rapist has a choice or is actually acting upon some kind of will. Anybody who's attacking you is acting upon some kind of
Okay, but that's okay.
will.
Now, before you were actually on target, but
Okay.
now you're that once again. That's beyond McDonagh. McDonagh's not arguing that the fetus has a will, a negative will
Right, well,
against
how
the
did
woman.
the fetus get there?
Yeah.
Fetus got there from sex, and so here's
Right.
McDonagh's response to that.
Well,
I think that's a good counter. I think you're on the right
Okay,
track. I think
okay.
that's actually the most important part of this. Go ahead.
Well, no, but then what is she saying? If the fetus did not have a will in this, that to me is the biggest. I mean, the definition of rape is, I mean, breaking it down is that man wills himself on the woman.
Okay,
So how does the baby will itself to
On the mother to take something
Correct.
from her.
if there is a special needs kid, let's say, I mean, I'm sorry to, I don't. This is the best analogy I can come up with. This is a little bit on the crude side, but if you had like,
I give you props, by the way, because this is so fringe. That
it is
Yeah.
French.
You can't even like.
If you had a 20-year-old handicapped boy who was who was still, physically mature and wanting sex and attacked a woman, he does not have a negative will against her. Maybe he's just trying to have
Okay,
sex,
okay.
but he should still have the right to repel.
Okay, but what's our response to that?
Okay.
Necessarily.
So I think you're on the right track. Okay, wait a minute. Sex seems to have this.
So are we arguing that the sperm has will?
No.
Because that was. I mean, if
That's-
you're trying to
that's what
break
her-
it down, that's
that's
all I'm
her-
trying to.
That's what her argument is not. Her argument
Okay.
is not that the
So
sperm
there's
has
no
will.
will involved.
There's no will involved.
But she's saying because we are allowed to act in self-defense against people who have no will,
Right.
who push themselves on us.
Right.
Okay.
That's it. So go back to what you were
But
saying.
the
I'm
fetus
lost
isn't
now.
killing her. So why do you react with lethal force to a non-lethal attack?
Because McDonagh would say, for one thing, sometimes pregnancy is dangerous. But more importantly, the only way right
Driving
now,
a car is dangerous.
the only way to repel the rapist right now is or I should say the child is an abortion. Like she might say, and I haven't found anywhere she actually said this, but I believe she would at least possibly say in a late-term pregnancy, if you could choose between abortion or a C-section and adoption, she would say, fine, do the C-section
Okay.
as a way to self-defense.
I think Andrew, you and I are probably approaching this too much. We're playing right into the hand.
Right. You need to go back to where you were.
Yeah, the basic idea is pregnancy is a natural thing.
Yes.
That the unborn is in its natural habitat to grow and survive. They're not intruding. They're in a space specifically designed for them. And it's ridiculous to say that they're attacking or invading when the space that they're living in was made for them and they were made by the woman and the man coming together.
And that number is the number one most, like the first counter argument I'm going to give. I think that's exactly our first response. Now, I would add, and this is what I did in the debate, when I said the child is in her rightful place, I said, now, you could either believe in intelligent design or evolution and still go with that.
Right.
Because
Correct.
clearly the uterus, unless you can come up with another purpose for the uterus besides, helping becoming pregnant and sustaining a pregnancy.
I think if you're using that argument, though, then you could have people argue that you'd have to have a use for every part of your body, for every component.
I'm kind of going
But
with
everybody
primary
has
use,
a
though.
use.
Well, I understand that, but